from Realcomm Live. This morning I've got a great group of partners in crime around the Real Estate Cyber Consortium. So for those who don't know, we back in 2016, a group of us at Realcomm came together and decided to go on a journey to create a consortium focused on the cyber standard, just getting us grounded as a community in the cyber threats and addressing those threats. And I'm really excited today to have Cecilia and Ken, who are leadership board members, and as important, excited to have Greg, who's our executive director and our part-time executive director, and just doing a great job. And as some of you don't know, on pre-con day on Tuesday, we had a meeting, a cyber forum in the morning. We had several hundred people in the room. Yeah. Fabulous. And I really kind of maybe want to start there and talk about how that morning went and some of the themes. I know we talked about this IT to OT, Ken, and I'll maybe start with you and your perspective.
Yeah, I think it's gotten bigger every year, right? And the content has continued to get better. I think the one thing this year that was sort of a big takeaway for me was we really had a very nice common thread running all the way through all the content.
Yes.
Right? It was all relevant. It was timely, right? Starting sort of with what's the threat and where things are at, all the way down to what are some emerging technologies that we should be considering with respect to securing our assets.
Yes, yeah. And Greg, I love that we started with just talking about the threat landscape, and then everyone's like, they were attentive for the 4 hours. So I don't know your takeaways from Monday.
Well, I'm the new guy on the block, right? And I come from the OT world. And the thing that I was most impressed with was how everyone in the room, like you said, Jim, seemed to be extremely attentive from start to finish, right? No one left the room. We had great breakout session at the end where we talked about a few different topics. And for me, I think that cyber awareness is growing more and more, and I think the OT side is starting to understand that they have a responsibility when it comes to cyber, and the IT or commercial real estate side understands that we need to get the stakeholders and your supply chain in line and provide information to them to make sure that we grow as an industry when it comes to cyber.
Yeah. And how much square footage represented in the room on the leadership board, Greg? What's the number?
Holy smokes.
It's something like 15 billion.
Something like 50 billion.
It's up there.
Yeah, and we're close to 50 member companies and about 150 members or so.
Yes.
So the organization is growing, slowly but surely. And one thing that, I want to make sure is that we're not an organization of just ideas. We're an organization of action. And I think that everyone involved understands that, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cecilia, I know you lead a working group as part of our member group focused on training and awareness, and we had a session on Monday talking about that. So kind of maybe bringing that in some of the work we're doing.
Sure. I mean, one of the beautiful things about this community is that we share knowledge, right? And this committee, this training committee, the aim of it is to bring all that knowledge together in one place and then provide it to the community. So we have different things going on. One is providing, identifying sources of resources, content, certification, as well as partnerships. And we have introduced, on Tuesday, we introduced a partnership with Texas A&M, which is basically providing real content, up-to-date content on cybersecurity, and this is at no cost. Right?
Yes.
And how beautiful that people can really get educated with really updated content by contacting this organization. They're also going to be partnering with us to create a set of content that is tailored to real estate.
Yeah. And I loved, one of the other conversations and panels we had was talking about, maintaining funding, the importance of, through, potentially some challenging economic times. And again, there were some takeaways there. And Ken, I don't know if it's keeping it front and center. Obviously, you, all three of us are public entities, so it's at the attention is at the board level. But again, we had a lot of different companies in the room. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're still waiting for the SEC to kind of tell us what they're interested in for cybersecurity disclosure. We've had new board members roll on more recently that have that level of experience, and they're asking the hard questions. But they're also very interested in ensuring that we're continuing to be resourced, right? Because they really recognize the risk to the asset, right? We've all got billions of dollars worth of assets, and while we could go sideways on a financial audit, that can be fixed. But if something happens, from a reputational standpoint, an asset standpoint, those are going to be have much more dire consequences.
Yeah, those reputational risks. I mean, that's paramount for me. The lens for our platform. Yeah. And Greg, when you do a pitch, I assume we had a booth on the floor here, and you had a lot of people come over after, hopefully, yesterday. So I know it was a busy day for you, and just maybe talking about the interaction of why people are interested, why people should join RECC, and that kind of, because you are our pitch man in terms of
I'm starting to sense a lot of excitement when it comes to RECC, right? After the Cyber Forum, I'm walking through the halls and people are pulling me to the side like, hey, great job, you guys are amazing. Talk to me a little bit about RECC. And I think we probably had about 40 people or so grab my card and want to contact me, regarding RECC. And for me, my main pitch to prospective members is, hey, like I said, we're not trying to be the organization of ideas, but we're trying to be the organization of action. So we've got initiatives in place. We've got Cecilia's webinar series coming up here soon.
Yes.
And what we want to do is start initiatives, identify the stakeholders that need to be involved that are within RECC, and get the individuals within those stakeholders to get involved in these initiatives, and then produce standards, guidelines, and things like that that we can pass out to our members to make sure that there's value there for the members when they take their business case back to their respective companies and say, hey, here's why we're spending the money to be involved in RECC. And then, in some cases, get some of that information out to the public, because this is an industry-wide problem that we have, and our industry is used to hoarding information in silos, and what we're trying to promote is the sharing of that information and coming up with actionable items.
Not reinventing the wheel,
Absolutely.
doing it together. It's not a competitive advantage. Cyber is not a competitive advantage.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
And we also want to make sure that at the end of the day, everyone understands how important it is to participate as a unit, right? And address this together.
So Cecilia, one of the things is you represent retail, and you have some IT. I mean, it's OT, but and I'd maybe talk about the value. But you don't have. But we cover IT and OT, and it's again this journey. Right. Even though you don't have a lot, it's really important to a retail or an industrial or other classic classes. So
absolutely, because look, when we're talking about cybersecurity, we're not really this applies to everybody, right? And the worry, it's about, well, when is it going to happen to you, and the knowledge, are you ready to take action if and when or if it happens to you, right? So I don't look at it from, well, if I don't have OT, I'm not going to do this. I just need to be aware, because even the limited amount of OT that I do have in my retail properties or my retail assets, I still need to know what is it that I need to know and how do I need to prepare.
Yes, yeah. And Greg, maybe we've got about a minute left, but just maybe talk about just how the leadership board, we have a cadence of calls and we have an annual meeting. Just maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a monthly call in which our entire leadership board gets together. There's relevant content there with speakers and things like that. We've got breakout sessions at the end to discuss the information that the speakers actually had. And then we have our yearly meeting. This year was in Austin, and that was my first experience meeting everyone in person. And it was a very spirited meeting. There was a lot of content there for 2 days, and it was pretty much exciting. And I see RECC as being the catalyst in our industry to pull all that information together. Like you like to say, Jim Whalen, don't recreate the wheel. We don't have to recreate the wheel.
Yeah, I know you're using the harmony.
Cyber harmony.
Cyber harmony.
Cyber harmony.
Yes, yeah.
Cyber harmony.
I think one of the things that I want to drive home is that this cybersecurity journey that we're talking about is not just to educate the IT professionals. This is just as important for the board members,
Absolutely.
the executive, property managers, asset managers, developers, engineers. It's everybody.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I just would pitch. If you're interested, you got to get engaged. Got to join the community. It is a community.
Absolutely.
And it's a very collaborative environment, and again, I just appreciate having all of you as peers that help are with me on this journey. Right, it's a continuous journey.
Absolutely.
So appreciate everyone, the audience today, and enjoy your Thursday. Thank you.